them by 10, 15 boards. Probably not going to happen. But my thing is I want to see some guys that step up and show that they're going to be the rebounders for this team this year, that they're taking that next step. You know, and I'm not only – because everybody's going to automatically say, okay, Garrison Brooks has to be better, Bacot has to show that he can rebound. We need someone else, especially at that 3 spot, to emerge that can rebound the ball as well. Because that's what Cam Johnson did so well a year ago that people will not realize until we actually see this team in action tonight. That this guy was that good as a rebounder. And the good thing is I mean, well, you got Cole Anthony as well. I mean, he pulled in 5 rebounds in the game against Winston-Salem State. So he's a guy that can rebound. Leaky, 5 rebounds as well. That came in 21 minutes. So, I don't know. I mean, they did it against Winston-Salem State. Now I need to see you do it against Notre Dame.
Yeah, the good thing is that when you brought in a guy like a Christian Keeling, Justin Pierce, both were really good rebounders for their size and positions. That was in smaller conferences.
Right.
How is that going to translate to the ACC? We're going to find out tonight. But no, that is something that we've kind of underlooked, that Carolina lost 9 rebounds from the 2 and 3 guard positions from last season. So as good as Carolina has always been inside with their bigs, we know the bigs are going to rebound because of just it's taught. But what's always made Carolina a complete rebounding team is that the guys on the perimeter get involved. It's going to be imperative the guys, the guards are hitting both ends, whether it's the offensive or defensive boards. They've got to go to the board and get the ball. I'm with you. I don't think Carolina's going to necessarily out-rebound Notre Dame by 10 or 15. I think they just got to keep it even. This is not going to be a complete rebounding product tonight. Carolina will be vastly better in January at rebounding the ball than what we're going to see. But they've got to find a way to keep Mooney off the boards if they want a chance to win.
Oh, I agree. I agree with that. And I mean, keeping him off the boards is okay. Did he pull in 10 rebounds? That's fine. That's fine. He pulled in 8 of them on the defensive end. Don't let him kill you on the offensive end with these offensive rebounds, second chance opportunities that are going to cause you problems. I think it'll be interesting because we talked about this with the 3-point line being moved back and the shot clock also resetting to only 20 seconds. There's going to be a lot of outside threes off of rebounds where it's going to be a quick kick out and 3. Carolina's had some trouble defending those for a while. And now you're going to have an even younger team that hasn't really faced that scenario all that often at the prep level. It's going to be interesting to see how they handle that. I mean, the fact Pfluger can shoot the 3, TJ Gibbs can kind of shoot the 3 a little bit. I mean, it looks like they're going to be able to shoot the 3 probably better than Carolina because I think, Carolina, we're still looking for who is going to be the main guys. Looks like Christian Keeling's going to be probably your main guy to look for there. But, Carolina's got to avoid allowing that on the defensive end. And my thing is like, does this not feel like a game that Carolina's probably going to have to turn ugly to win? Like this, if Notre Dame scores in the high 70s or 80s, it's going to be tough to see.
Yeah, this definitely feels like a game that if the Heels win, it's probably going to be in the high 60s, low 70s. Mm-hmm. As much as Carolina wants to run and get into a track meet, they're not going to be able to get there tonight. They're not going to run that they want to run. They're not going to know when to run, how to run,
and that's okay.
And now,
first game of the season. With a freshman point guard and a freshman big man.
I'm fine with that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also fine with Carolina winning games ugly because I think it pays dividends later in the year if you can count, you can hang your hat on, okay, well, we got to go play an ugly game, we can win it.
Right.
And that was something last year's team had to learn was how to win ugly. And when they did, it's why they won or shared the ACC regular season with Virginia because they learned how to win games when they didn't have their best game. So with that, let's just go ahead and we're going to go and pick the game. And if Carolina wins the game, why is it going to be? I'll go first. I've talked and I've come across as a negative Nancy, Debbie Downer, whatever you want to say. I still think at the end of the day, Carolina wins. Mainly because this game is at home. It is in the Smith Center. I think it's going to factor into this. Mm-hmm. Carolina has been very good against Notre Dame. And I think if Carolina wins, ultimately we're going to be talking about Cole Anthony. Just because he's that important to this team already. We always know how important point guards are under Roy Williams, but normally you don't really learn about them in their freshman year until February or March. We saw that with Marcus Page as he developed as the season goes on. Kobe White was kind of the outlier. I think Cole Anthony falls into that line where if this team's going to be good, that's going to be because of him. I think it starts tomorrow night. I think he'll lead Carolina to as we just talked about, an ugly win, but a win nonetheless to start the season 1-0.
Well, yeah, no, I agree. I think it's going to be somewhere in those low or low to mid 60s. Might get into the low 70s. That's kind of the area where I see this game. I think Carolina wins. I got that as well. I think Cole Anthony will be a big part of this team. It's going to be interesting to see how he performs with pressure on him, and the first game being an ACC game. Look, we've had guys that have had pressure on him before. They've never had pressure the first game of the year like this because, let's be real honest, Carolina doesn't play a lot of massive games to open the season. They've done it a couple of times, and they've been successful, so it'll be interesting to see if they can do it with a freshman point guard. I think when you look back on this game, if they win this game, what are people going to be talking about? They're going to be talking about the fact that this team is able to score inside the way they're going to need to most of the season. They really need to have a post presence on the inside, a scoring threat on the inside, something they really haven't had a big name one at in the last couple of years. It's really this simple. I don't think this team is going to shoot the ball all that well this year. I don't think they're going to be anywhere near as good as they were a year ago. And that's okay. Some teams are built different. I think that you're going to see Garrison Brooks step up. You're going to see Armando Bacot step up. And who knows, maybe you even see Brandon Huffman off the bench add a couple of points there to help you out, whether it's late in the game or in the middle of the game if they need them to give those guys a breather. I think that, if this Tar Heel team wants to win this game, they have to go back to what Roy Williams was so successful at when he first returned to Carolina, which is getting the ball inside and finding a way to score there. Tomorrow night, it's going to be tough, but look, you've got two really talented guys. Down low, Notre Dame's got one big guy that they're talking about. I think Carolina, if they can find a way to get inside and score the ball, they're going to have success and they'll pull out the victory.
There you go. There's our predictions for tomorrow night's season opening and ACC opening game to kick off what's going to be a fun 2019-2020 basketball season. We'll wrap up the podcast with our buzzer. Beat the buzzer. I always mess it up. Beat the buzzer segment, and it starts right now.
There we go.
Welcome to Beat the Buzzer.
And on tonight's Beat the Buzzer segment, as we get it right coming out of the break, we're just going to focus on the stats that you always start with an opener. And Carolina is opening the season the first time against an ACC opponent for the first time since 1967, 1968. I think I have that right. Or no, it might be 66, 67. That was against Clemson at home at the time and then being played. I believe it was.
Was that a win?
That was a win.
Of course. Because Clemson still has not won in Chapel Hill yet.
And that was, I believe, at Carmichael Auditorium.
That's right.
So you're looking back, it's been 70, 87, you're over 50 years since the last time Carolina opened the season against ACC competition. Just shows you just how
rare that is.
Yeah, how rare this is and just kind of how ludicrous this idea was made by the ACC.
Way to go, John Swafford.
The Heels are also 15-1 under Roy Williams in season opener. The one loss was in 2004 to Santa Clara. That team won the national championship the following spring.
There we go.
They're also 11-5 under Roy Williams in ACC openers. Last time they lost an ACC opener was 2017. That team later in the spring won the national championship.
So you're saying we should lose?
I'm just saying that if they lose tomorrow night,
that will be on there. That will be on there if they lose tomorrow night. People will be on there. Well, we lost to Santa Clara in 2004.
Well, it's just a good reminder that if they lose tomorrow night, the season's not over. The world's not ending.
Please do not start we may need to move on from Roy.
Yeah.
I don't have the energy. Yeah. I'm still a little bit under the weather. I don't feel like staying up all night and arguing with you guys over something that stupid. Please don't do that if they lose. But I think they're going to win, so.
And then also, as we wrap up, Carolina 24-7 all time against Notre Dame, 8-3 against the Irish since they joined the ACC back earlier this decade. Roy Williams all time against Notre Dame is 9-3, always been head coach of the Tar Heels.
There you go.
So that's it for this edition of the Roy's Boys podcast as we preview.
Very serious edition of the podcast.
Yeah,
that was our most serious one in the very long
it's
time, so
we're
buckled in. We're ready to go.
Sometimes I like to have fun, but when it's go time, I'm ready to go, and I'm excited to dig in and watch this team. There's been a long 6-7 months since we had that ugly taste of Auburn in our mouth, and I'm ready to get it out. It's been a fun offseason with all the stuff we've done recruiting, and just really to see how the guys that returned have improved their game. And look, it's Carolina basketball, so it's going to be exciting one way or another. We get to watch Roy Williams coach, and that's always a joy and a pleasure to watch our man on the sideline.
We just need the Roy cam, man. That would be awesome.
Yeah, screw the Zion cam. Roy Williams deserves his own camera for just the reactions he's going to give us on the bench. We'll be locked in on that as we watch the game tomorrow night.
We will break down his reactions as well on the bench from the season opener. We'll have a team breakdown, and then we'll do the Roy Williams facial expressions breakdown.
Right.
By the way, should we mention? We got to mention his press conference, right? Where he said that if Brandon Huffman was to shoot a three in any game this year, he would not even wait until the buzzer went off. He would take him out of the game right there.
Yeah, he threatened to pull a player off the floor mid-game, and then also reference something about throwing poop or a mushroom into a corner and hoping it grows into something on its own. I don't know what that means or why he decided to say that already.
It's not even. We haven't even played a game yet, and mid-season form.
Yeah, he's in mid-season form. He's ready to go, and so are we here on the Roy's Boys podcast. I want to thank you guys for listening to the podcast. Remember, you can subscribe to the podcast through mobile or multiple podcasting platforms. We're on Spreaker, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Podcast, TuneIn, you name it, the Roy's Boys podcast. There. Also, remember to find us. We are on the HeelToughBlog.com. Just click on the Roy's Boys tab at the top of the page. Also, check out our basketball coverage, which is now on HeelToughBlog.com as well. I have a preview up there, recap, article about Puff Johnson committing to Carolina, what that means for that 2020 class moving forward. So tons of stuff going on with us on the basketball side of things. Of course, don't forget about Anthony and the Heel Tough blog in terms of football as Carolina enters its second bye week of the 2019 season. They've got 3 games left, and they're all 3 pretty big as the team tries to make a bowl game for the first time in 3 years. And Mac Brown and the staff are doing a phenomenal job on the recruiting trail. Expect to have 1 big-time recruit committing in the next week or so. Keep your eyes plug to the HeelToughBlog.com because we'll have you covered there. I want to thank you guys for listening. Go Tar Heels.